United as we come from this right side where Diogo Dalot was, or the left side as Manchester City were attacking. So that's maybe something that he just needs to work on a little bit. Again, he scored a great goal, probably the best goal of the afternoon in all fairness. Of the 9 goals we scored, Antony's was probably the pick of the bunch from either side. So if you take that away and leave that in isolation, I just think defensively maybe a little bit more work needs to be done there. But let's face it, he wasn't brought in for the defensive side of the game. But I think Erik ten Hag is a coach and a character who will want that a little bit more from his players. So I think that's one thing. I also feel like there were a couple of moments in that game where maybe you just want a little bit more. So there was a ball that went skyward into the penalty area and it was dropping down to one of the City centre-halves, and Marcus Rashford felt that he didn't want to go and challenge the header. That for me was a little bit concerning. I feel like you want your players to be going in and trying to make a nuisance of themselves in the box. But particularly down this left side, as far as City are concerned, they were really trying to overload this side. And when United had the ball on this side, we were just trying to force them out of play effectively. Either turn the ball over by winning the ball back here in these sorts of areas, or if failing that, you just kind of force them out of play and then it's a throw and there's nowhere to go. You kind of box them in. But that was one thing I noticed. And listen, you could pick up on many things today about where it didn't go right for Manchester United, but you also need to give praise to the opposition. As we've already heard from Ben Thornley, who was at the game on commentary for MUTV, he said that, you know, City are the benchmark. And I think that you can't really kid yourselves. You have to take your medicine. Defeats like this have become far too common for Manchester United. They're extremely frustrating. They're tough to take. But you have to accept that at the moment, Manchester City are the best team in English football. It's hard to say it. It hurts to say it. But you have to suck it up. And like I say, take your medicine. I think it's really important that you do take it on the chin, because when United do come back, and I'm confident they will, it will make that so much sweeter. It will make that so much more satisfying when things do start to go our way again. But when you look at things today, you've got a team that are exceptionally well coached, that have been one of the best teams in the league and probably the best team in Europe, even though they haven't won a Champions League over the last few years. And United ran into a City side today who really played them off the park, and the damage was done in the first half. Plenty of things to analyse. I'm sure Erik ten Hag will do exactly that when it comes to the rest of this week, looking ahead to that Ammonia game as well. So I think that with what we've seen today, it's one of those where it will live long in the memory. It's probably a good thing as well. You can kind of learn from that, the disappointment. I think that there's an old saying in football, you can't get too high when you win, you can't get too low when you lose. The emotion is raw, it's a derby game, but I think you need to understand that, you know, these are the best team at the moment. And so, yeah, you know, it's a difficult one to take, and I'm sure it'll be a difficult one for the players as well to analyse. Bruno Fernandes has had that difficult task. He's been speaking to us after the game. Here he is.
Bruno, not the result you will have wanted. Where do you think it went wrong for you today?
I think the attitude and the belief from the beginning was not the best, and I think it was that caused us many problems and make us concede early goals, and after we have to run back the result. And obviously I think in the second half was much better. We control more the game. Whenever we have the ball, we are more brave. Obviously we down on the result, so we have to take some risks. And obviously when you take that risk, you score straight away, you try to go a little bit more, and you concede more goals against teams like City. You can't give that much space to them. But obviously we are really disappointed, but now it's time to focus in the next game and understand that we have to get back in the performance that we did before, in the belief, in everything that we have, in the togetherness principle, and understand that this cannot get us down and has to make us improve for the future.
It's a process, isn't it, under the new manager Erik ten Hag, in terms of getting better week on week. This is a reminder that the job's not done yet. You've got to keep improving. You've got to keep getting better.
Yeah, well, that's obviously, I think after this result, we knew that was going to be a tough game. But we had tough games before, and we have won it. So I think it's about mentality, attitude, togetherness, and belief in the process.
How difficult is it now? You've got more games coming up in October. They come so fast. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing for you?
No, it's a good thing. Obviously, you have time. You don't have that much time to recover, but at the same time, you have to understand that you have a chance to get a result, a good performance, to give more confidence to the team. So it's about now going to the Europa League and win the next game and win all the games that are coming for us.
A very honest assessment from an obviously disappointed Bruno Fernandes. But we're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, we hope we will hear from the manager, Erik ten Hag. We'll also get the thoughts of Mark Sullivan, because he's been at the Etihad today with Danny Webber and Ben Thornley.